All right, friends, we got to go on a rant today. This is the channel where we talk about rational dating. And I got to tell you all something. There are a lot of women out here in the world who are angry at men. They are angry. They're very angry. Now, this was caused, this video is inspired by a true event. The event doesn't matter. I met a woman who's really angry at men. She had a lot of internalized anger toward men. Let me talk about this, guys. I'm going to rant about this for a minute. Okay. Anytime you dislike an entire group of people and you have a lot of anger toward that group of people within you, it's not a good idea. Okay? It's never a good idea. Anytime you try to lump everyone into the same, circle, the same group, this is never a good idea. People are different. We should judge people based on their choices. We should judge them based on what they do in their life. Okay? And there are a lot of women out here who are very angry at all the men. They're very angry at all the men. They have internalized anger toward men. Okay? Now, you can do whatever you want. If you want to be angry at men, just for being men, okay. It's a free country. It's a free world. You get to do that. I'm not going to date you, but you're free to do it. If you want to go on dates and tell men what pieces of crap they are, you can do it. I'm not going on a date with you, but you can do it. We go through things in life that are hard. Have I gone through phases where I was angry at women? Oh yeah, yeah. I would be lying out of my butt if I didn't admit that. I've been married twice. And, am I perfect? Nope. I'm not perfect. Haven't been perfect a single day yet. But let me tell you something. After my first marriage, I was very angry at women. And I hated women for a good year. And I dated like I did. And I watched content that hates on women. And I got all into that. I got into it. And it had a negative effect on my life. It had a destructive effect on my life. Why? Because I wasn't being rational. Plain and simple. I was living in an echo chamber. I didn't like women. I was angry at them. I thought all of them were evil. I thought all of them were just out to take advantage of men. That's what I thought. Do I think that's true now? No. No. I love women. As a general rule, if you're a woman, I'm highly likely to love you. Does this mean that every woman is good? No. Are there women out there you should stay away from? Oh, 100%. Are there women out there who are bad news? Oh, yeah, 1,000,000%. Do I treat all women with the same kind of disdain, the same kind of distance I would treat a woman who I thought was bad news with? Like, do I treat them all like that? No. I generally tend to be, a person who has, I believe the best about people. I really do. I tend to believe the best about people. And I think this is a rational way to live until they show you otherwise. Now, don't just be naive, but don't judge people just because they belong to a particular, group, especially a group as broad as being female or being male, okay? Now, you may think to yourself, I don't hate men. I don't. But you know what? Let me ask you some questions. When you are thinking about men, do you get all riled up and angry because you think about what your exes did? You think about how this new guy that you matched with on Tinder will probably treat you the same way. Is that what you think about? When you think about reproductive rights, does it get you all angry and you hate men because every time you think about it, you just think of these white middle-aged men sitting in the congressional house making laws about your body and you don't like it, which, by the way, fair. You should have opinions about laws that affect you. You should. However, do you use language like, all you men making laws? You may hate men. You may have an internalized hatred of men. What does this do to a person? Well, it shows. If you are angry at men and you live that way, you're going to go on dates with men if you like men, this is such a quandary. Let's just really Let's really dive into this for a minute. If you have an internalized hatred of men and you want to date men, that is a problem, because you're going to go on dates with men, and that internalized hatred of men is going to seep out of you. It's gonna be like one of those Play-Doh toys. You mash them together, and all the Play-Doh comes stringing out. People sense it. They see it. They can see it from a mile away. Especially men who have actually done the work to be good men. Men who have done the work to want to be, mature. Men who have done the work to want to be, masculine. They want to be, I don't know. They want to be better. They want to be whatever they want to be, right? Maybe they've done the work to heal from their past. They're not going to project their trauma onto people. They're going to try to be, self-accountable, self-responsible. They're going to try to, be stoic and think of people's feelings, and they're going to be empathetic and kind. They want to add good to the world, not take away from the good in the world. They want to add goodness. They want to help make the world a better place, right? They want to be good fathers. Maybe they want to be good husbands, good boyfriends, good providers. They want to do good at their work. There are good men out there. There are. Now, are there bad ones? Oh, hell yeah. There's a lot of bad men out there. Are there men that are very bad news that women should probably hate? Mm-hmm. Yep. No, 100%. Hate the bad ones. No problem. I got no issue. Dude is bad. Dude's out here hitting women. Very bad news. Dude is out here being mean to people for no good reason. Yep. Very bad news. Dude out here not paying his bills, not budgeting his money, being irresponsible, right? Wasting money, living through like basically just a self-created financial disaster. Probably should stay away from that guy. Probably should stay away from him. Dude projects his trauma onto you all the time. Probably bad. Yeah, no, you hate that guy. Hate him. You should, and you should probably teach your kids to do the same. I don't know about hate. Hate's a strong word, but that's what this video is about. But why would you ever rationally lump all these men together? Why would you ever rationally lump these men together? Well, you wouldn't. There is no rationality to that, right? And that's what I'm trying to inspire here. I'm trying to inspire some thinking. We need to be using the old noggin. So women, I got to tell you something. When you internalize that hatred of men, and listen, I know you've probably been hurt. You've probably been done dirty by some bad men. You might have been done real bad by some real bad men. And maybe those men were men you were supposed to trust. Maybe those were men who should have had your best interests at heart. Maybe those were men that really failed you and made terrible choices about you and really traumatized you. That is super fair. Hate those guys. Hate them. I would argue that there's a good reason to try to get past hating people. There's a good reason to try to get past, internalized rage and anger. But it's understandable and justified to feel rage toward bad people. But when we internalize our rage and then we point it just like at everything around us, at everything in front of us, and then we just go on this rampage in our lives to try to run people over with it, then we end up hurting ourselves more than we help ourselves. We end up hurting ourselves more than we hurt other people. And the bad people win because the people that did terrible things to you, well, they succeeded in turning you into someone who's going to hurt people too. Because I don't care how you cut it. I don't care if you have internalized resentment, internalized anger, internalized hatred for one specific segment of the population, just based on their identity. Like, so in other words, men or women. If you start doing that, guess what? You are just indiscriminately casting hate and negativity and anger. And all of that is boiling up inside you, giving you diseases. It's going to be toxic. You're going to get toxicity from that. I don't know the science. I'm not a doctor. But it's probably going to make you sick. It's probably going to make your lifespan shorter. All that stress, all that cortisol in your system. I would encourage women so much to not have an internalized anger toward men, to not let it do that. Listen, I love women. You're some of my favorite. You are some of my favorite creations in this whole world. I think women are the most amazing. They're so beautiful. They are so just there are so many delightful things about women that I enjoy, and it makes me so happy that there are women in this world. Do you know what a dreary place this would be for me if there were no women here? I am so glad there are women here. And I'm not perfect, guys. I've had my issues. I've hated women in the past, as I said before. That wasn't the right choice because I don't want to lump bad women in with the good ones. I want to treat every person for what they deserve based on their choices. I also have been angry at people and then forgiven them because they chose to become someone different. We can't make a rational case for blanket hatred. Now, here's what a lot of women would say. A lot of women will say, oh, no, I don't have internalized hatred toward men. Are you sure? Are you sure? Because you might really listen to the things you say. Listen to your feelings when you see topics like this come up. How are you feeling with me talking about this right now? Right? I'm not saying anything irrational. I'm not saying anything that is not common sense. But are you mad at me right now watching this video? Eh? We've got to really audit ourselves, okay? And I'm not just trying to tell you how to live. Like, I'm not out here trying to tell women how to live. This is a channel for men and women about dating rationally, straightforward, right? About dating rationally. But rational is a key word there. Dating rationally means we've got to be rational. And I'm wanting to make a case for rationality because a world where men and women behave rationally in regards to dating is a much better dating life. That's the mission here. That's my mission. I want to get people thinking more rational, right? Getting away from this hyper emotionalized dating infrastructure where everyone kind of just runs around making wild choices and then they just don't know what they want and there's no intentionality and there's no plan and there's no rhyme or reason and everyone's projecting all of their baggage onto each other. Believe it or not, as angry as this video might be making you, the truth is I actually am right, first of all. And the same is true with men, but I'm going to make a different video about that. Men, stop internalizing your hate for women. I'm going to make that video too. This one's just for this is the other one, right? This is the other one. Okay. I am trying to do this because I want to spread awareness for rationality in dating. I think it is so sad that so many humans do not practice intentionality and rationality in their dating lives. And it makes them miserable and sad. And it hurts feelings and it causes trauma. I want it to stop. That's pretty much all I had to say about this. Thank you for coming back to Dating as Humans. My name is Josh. This is the channel where we try to teach humans, to talk to humans, to educate humans about dating with intention and rationality. Thank you for coming to my talk. Book a call with me if you want to talk. Links in the description. I'm not a dating coach. I can't fix your dating life. Only you can do that by being more rational. All right. I'll see you guys later.